Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigval here and welcome back to another video. So, in the first fight we're going to have Nora Snow Globe Last of Joker with EPI, and we're going to have on Joker himself a level 9 Firebox. I'm still testing out this team. Like, we've seen what this team at peak performance can do. It can get all the way up to 700 mil damage, but even though my Last of Joker is almost completely built, this is very far from the most optimal place where this team could be, because what my Joker lacks is the lethal attack damage legendary talent, and at the same time I don't have lethal attack damage on my Firebox, and that decreases the damage far more than you would expect. So yeah, in this one we did not use the Nora Snow Globe. I do have one on EPI, and I maybe should have removed another gear. I wanted to get her to die to super move, and that is going to be what we're going to attempt to do here in a second. And yeah, problem is she did not die. I should have removed some defense, and at that point I'm like, nah bro, let's just not do that. Let's just get Joker in there, because the problem with letting EPI die as well with Nora Snow Globe is that it will take a lot of time, and with EPI you have to be far more careful because she needs to kind of stay alive afterwards. You only need the 2 clones to die, and that also puts you in a dangerous position where you might lose your EPI and as a result lose all the damage that you're going to do. So I just decided to not do that here. We do have a class advantage, so that will heavily increase our damage. It kind of counts twice for League of Anarchy because it increases the base damage we deal on basic attack hits, and it increases the damage we deal on dot damage, so it's going to be very great on that regard. I put this on 2 times speed because it's going to be pretty much just me combo dropping the dude. I don't think I failed at any point. Again, don't use the SP2 if you don't have to, if you can combo interrupt, because you're actually losing damage by doing the SP2, because in the time that the SP2 animation is going to be going on, you're going to lose like 2 basic attack hits, and those are going to most likely do more damage than your special 2 is ever going to be able to do. So yeah, that was about it for this one. And it was 344 ml. Keep that number in mind because we're going to also look at a Harley fight that I'm going to display afterwards. Now, moving on to the next fights, this will be Beta Club Batman Ninja Catwoman. Yet again, in Dawn of Apocalypse, Beta Club is not that great, because you're going to miss out on passive stats, since the passive stats of the artifacts don't split. Still being the only story where that's the case, and they tried that with On Ice and reverted it back on, so at this point I'm like, just do it for Dawn of Apocalypse as well, my dudes. But yeah, I went back and forth in terms of using or not using Beta Club on the Batman Ninja team, because they also do have a very good synergy with my level 9 Firebox. Keep in mind that my Beta Club is only level 8, so that will influence things a little bit, and here we're hitting into a class advantage, so that heavily increases our damage. For Beta Club, yet again, double, 2 times increased. Other than normal case scenario, because it's going to increase yet again our basic attack hit and also the dot afterwards, and the dot is influenced itself by the base attack hits. So not sure if this is quite the best benchmark, but after fighting this, the conclusion is that I'm going to do slightly more damage with the Beta Club, but the difference is so damn negligible to the point where it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. In Dawn of Apocalypse, obviously, in the other soul raids, if you do have Beta Club, then definitely go ahead and use that. It's going to yield far better results for you. So yeah, this and it went well overall. I can't really complain too much about this fight. Almost 200 mil. I think the best I got on this account with the Firebox was 170, but I'm not sure I was hitting into class advantage. Now we're going to move on to the Deathstroke Ben Blast team. And we're going to do as much percentage hell damage to her as we can. This is her X7, so she's going to have plenty of health to go around. And if we get the best out of the clones, it's going to be overall a very good time. If you're wondering why I have just 2 characters in this team, there was literally no other character that I could put in here. I mean, I could put any character I wanted in here, but literally nothing would have influenced the outcome of this fight. I did have Red Hood available, but I'm not doing that for this team anymore, since it seems to be a very, very potent trigger to unusual gameplay. So we best avoid that. Another SP2 in there, she's in the corner. Combo interrupt again. Another SP2 in there. Combo interrupt again. Venom Flaps is done, so we don't need to worry about him anymore. Now we need to worry about Deathstroke doing his best and getting the best out of the clones. I did tag Venom Flaps in there again because she was getting close to Super Move, and I want to ideally let Deathstroke tank Super Move, but at the same time be done with all his percentage hell damage, so we can move on to the clones at that point. And the last SP2 that we're gonna do is actually I did not finish it, bad rip, but we're getting close to it. I just wanted to have more power on the clones so we can always just finish up the base Deathstroke after the clones are done. And this is not gonna be a very optimal scenario for us because we can combo interrupt her, but we need to pin her to a corner. But with this one, with this first clone, we did well. It went well for this one, at the very least. I think the second one had a little bit of a problem. But yeah, she tends to transition very fast into a block after a swipe or a jump attack, and that's usually the safe place to engage a combo if you want to push her to the corner. So if we get her here, it's going to be easy, but getting her here is going to be the hard part. And here I'm just gonna let this clone die. It didn't get everything out of the way, but nowadays I tend to just not let the clones get everything out of the way. Yeah, this one did not have a good time because it got tagged into the constant hazard dot area, and now even though she was in the corner and we could in theory combo interrupt, we have no health to do so, so I'm going to try my best to get something out of this clone, and it's gonna be a little bit rough because, as I said, her animations and her block transitions are quite clunky and hard to predict, and at the same time, usually after she does a jump attack, she's going to go into a special, so there's no room for us almost to engage a combo without at least blocking a hit. And blocking a hit here will simply not be an option. But we did well considered, like she seemed to. And yeah, this SP2 was rushed. Could have gotten this and maybe one more if I didn't rush it. But overall, it went far better than I expect for that second clone. So yeah, that's about it for this one. And boy, we did a very sizable chunk of damage here. Very sizable chunk of damage. Here I have Kinflan Sakumen with not Nora Snow Globe, actually we have the Firebox. And I wanted to see how far we can take this. I haven't used Firebox King in a while. We have Dr. Fate with Dark Metal cards to guarantee the crit area underneath, so we get the most out of King's damage. We're gonna see how that goes. Dr. Fate in there, swipe down. I still don't feel very comfortable in combo interrupting with Dr. Fate, especially when I'm not able to finish the combo into a swipe. Third special in there, that was a 60 mil. We might keep in mind the Esprit 3 damage and add them up to see how much was actually King's damage and how much was the percentage shell damage. I mean, the percentage shell damage is also King's damage, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's not what we're really looking forward to, because no matter the setup, that would have been the same. Red Hood in here, getting the super move out of the way. I let King tank that because with level 9 Firebox, he's actually the tankiest of the team. That's a 45, so in total we got 104 so far. 104 mil from that percentage health area. And the third one is going to be 48. 104 plus 48 is going to be 152, hopefully. So 152 was the percentage shell damage. Now let's see how much we're going to be able to do with the base damage of King. And considering how much percentage shell damage we did, I really think we would have been better off in terms of damage just getting the Nora Snow Globe in there. If we would have gotten like 2 SP3s out of any of the clones, we would have been better off in that regard. So yeah, kinda sucks in that regard, but we can still wait and see how much we do. And if you're expecting me to calculate at the end and extract from the final number how much we did without the percentage shell damage, then forget about that, because I already forgot how much we did. So if you want that information, you'll have to sadly dig for it yourself. Look, I made it easy for you. I already calculated what you need to subtract. You just need to subtract it from the final amount. Now third special in there. Dr. Fate back in. I'm taking him also for power generation. King back in there, third special. Re-engage the combo. Combo in shot again. Into another third special. Dr. Fate back in. Block a few hits. King back in there, straight into a third special. Combo in shot again. Yet again, we can build as much combo as we want, but we just must not cap the power. Dr. Fate back in, you can do full combo after third special from a tag-in. With any character, after King their special specifically. King back in there, third special because we were capping out on energy. 3.3 mil, it's not terrible. It's not terrible by any means, but yet again, the clones would have done so much more here. Now third special. Dr. Fate back in. Come on, drop again. Keep in mind, if you want to do the tagging after the third special, you have to do it immediately after the third special is done, immediately after, because if King can chain a combo, so can other characters. That's basically the reasoning behind it. Yeah, that was for the King fight. I think this went overall to an extent perfectly. Like, I really can't complain about how this went, but in terms of gameplay, but as far as the damage goes, yeah, we'd have been far better off. So yeah, over here we had the Joker League of Anarchy do something like 160 mil damage against basically the same boss. So over here for the Harley League of Anarchy, obviously they can't do more damage because there's not more health left. But if we're able to finish this fight with, let's say, 30 seconds left, it's going to be easily more damage than that. And the big advantage that the Harley team has over here is that they can use the Dark Metal cards. And yeah, on Arkham Knight Venom to set up, I was basically thinking about the fact that the Joker team has basically the same advantage in other soul raids, because you can just put Dark Metal cards there and have passive stats from other artifacts. But again, in our soul raids is not really the most worthwhile thing to use the Nora Snow Globe to get your characters killed, unless you have very low passive stats from the artifacts. Because if you put Dark Metal cards on Last of Joker, then, which you should do, then you put Nora Snow Globe on another character, that's already going to occupy a lot of slots that could have gone into passive stats. But yet again, maybe you have just, let's say, a level 2 artifact for that soul raid specifically, you put that on EPI and the Nora Snow Globe on Just Like Flash. But yeah, this was far more damage than Joker. I mean, it wasn't, because she didn't have much health to help her with, but it would have been far more damage for me specifically than Joker would have been ever able to do. So here we have a Manta fight, so I'm not giving Manta Brainiac anymore, at the very least not in Dawn of Apocalypse. He doesn't seem to do very well or that much better with Brainiac in there, so I'm keeping Brainiac for other teams. And I'm giving him Flash and Classic Wonder Woman, he seems to love that. And he's getting some good values. Yet again, we're suffering from not being able to have Dark Metal cards on him, and it pains my soul to see so many non-crit hits. And with Manta it's going to be quite easy to spot how many of our hits don't crit, because on our damage dealers I might have some lethal attack chance mixed in there, and all the numbers that are going to come out are red. But for Manta I don't have lethal attack chance because he goes with Brainiac usually, and he gets all the lethal chance from there. So over here all the white numbers are numbers that would have been basically at least triple the damage if we would have been able to equip the Dark Metal cards. And yeah, that's the main problem with Dawn of Apocalypse, like, outside of bosses being a little bit on the hard side of things, the artifact bonus is not splitting, and that basically locks you out of a lot of other options that you might have had and even spend money on from other soul raids. Here we have the Raven Confluent Sockman fight yet again. Because of no bonus splitting, this team will be nerfed, but it still does a lot. Like, it's still basically almost one-shots, or straight up one-shots. Like, something that I forgot to do in this fight was equip my attack gear on Confluent Sockman. I have like two hand gears. I like to call them King's right hand and King's left hand. Basically the gauntlet that he uses. One of them is full of attack rolls and one of them is full of fast actions rolls. And I basically put the full attack one when I'm using Beta Club, and usually swapping or not swapping that one out doesn't matter because we have a ton of attack from the passive stats of artifacts, but here there are no passive stats, so that's how much is it? 293 times you calculate that. I don't feel like it would have really mattered in this scenario, and would have heavily improved. Not that heavily, I would say maybe 5% more damage. Maybe I'll add to 10% more damage, who knows, because all the Confluent Sockman base stats are going to be multiplied through various ways, through his passive and through Raven passive, so that would have really mattered. So I seem to be kind of kept at 14 to 15 mil dot values, which is by no means bad. It's by no means a small amount, but it's very small compared to other situations. There she blocked. We also need to be careful not to die because King is not as tanky. Oh, 18.5 mil. Yeah, never mind. A little bit higher than that, actually. Nice SP3 in there. We're gonna use the combo. King back in there. There's special. Gonna block. Raven back in there. Special 1. We have this sort of Sinnoh Raven. Allowing Harley to... Or more like... Or better said, not allowing Harley to use any of her specials. King back in there. Jump attack. Jump attack. Their special. Raven resetting darkness. I'm basically just cycling them as soon as King gets a third special in there. In theory, he doesn't even need to do that third special. Like, the thing is, we just need to keep up the burning and we need to keep up the dot. And if I could, I would literally sit with 4 more time with Raven in there and just let the dot run its course. But at the same time, it doesn't have too big of a duration, so we need to constantly refresh that. King back in there, jump attack. Block, jump attack, block, jump attack, third special. And yeah, I did fear at some points in this fight that it might not be enough damage, but it looks like it will easily be. And yeah, at this point we see no dot values flying out, so we're going to let as much as... Actually, no, I'm just gonna into a super move. And we did not get unusual gameplay, thankfully, because this is a fight where you're very likely to get an unusual gameplay. And yeah, with Harley dealt with, there's only one thing remaining. Oh boy. Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen, here we go again, Boss Joker. One of the hardest, if not the hardest bosses in Just 2 Mobile. I think it's a tie between himself, Black Lightning. Though Black Lightning, it seems to be very unfair, like, in theory, to the unexperienced player, to the player that first time fights against Joker and Black Lightning, Joker is going to be harder most likely, but the thing is, Joker gets better the more you fight him, because you're going to find ways to counter him and ways to improve your gameplay against him. Black Lightning, nah bro, that's one of the most unfair fights in the game, my dudes. And I could have jumped over that, and the second special into that prisoner did not help. I'm using Zero Bench to tag out the prisoners because I have Nora Snow Globe on Deathstroke, and having that basically means that he's going to do absolutely no damage outside of the percentage health damages. And it doesn't help when the clones in Heroic 7 are going to have something, not the clones, excuse me, the prisoners, are going to have something in the ballpark of 2 million health, if not more than 2 million health. Without Sir Bench in there, we'd have never been able to kill any prisoners and also have Nora Snow Globe. And if I gave him the level 9 fodder box, he would have had a very rough time still killing prisoners. A prisoner getting tagged out there, he gets stunned and the first clone gets tagged in, and it gets stunned and killed. You might be like, well, that was useless, it's fine, the second clone stun resisted somehow. I don't know how though, because my Deathstroke has absolutely no stun resistances. And his stats don't seem to transition into the clones, or they do but the passives don't, so maybe the clones have an innate stun resistance, but yeah, that's as far as Deathstroke went. He didn't go far, I can tell you that much. He got only one SP2 out of one of the clones, so yeah, the Deathstroke fight was a little bit unfortunate, but still did a massive amount of damage. So Sir Banshee in here will try her best to make the best out of this fight that she can in the time left. And boy, he's being very annoying to me here. I don't have the power box actually on Sir Banshee, I have the entropy at level 1, so that's going to make her actually far less tanky. I just wanted to prevent her from getting one shot or having any chance to get one shot. But yeah, there she goes. And to get an idea of how the Deathstroke versus Prisoner would have gone with Nora Snow Globe on, it would have been a little bit more damage than Power Girl is able to do here, and as you can see, she's not having the best of times. Come interrupt again, doing our best there. So 98k, I wouldn't even say it took 5% of his soul health. This is the Heroic 7 Prisoner, and he's a nightmare. He is more annoying than Boss Joker in my opinion. But yeah, that's as far as Deathstroke went. And yet again, not bad damage actually. And moving on to the Batman Who Laughs fight. Over here we're actually going to have Fatherbox on Batman Who Laughs. could tag prisoners out with Robin as well, but I did not have a Robin available because I did use the Bat Ninja team previously. So yeah, I'm going to have Darkseid in here to prevent Battle Flaps from getting one-shot, and Horrific Scarecrow to make their specials cost a little bit more to do. But the problem is he's going to have to kill prisoners by himself, and that's not gonna be a pleasant experience. Like, the bright side is that he's not going to... Boy, how did that... Ah, boy, that's disgusting. How did that SP1 that kill? The bright side is that he doesn't really care. I mean, he cares if he gets hit by the gas hazard because he takes some damage. But as far as losing buffs goes, he doesn't care. And we generate power so slow. Like, I'm always using Battle Blast with Sword of Salvation. I'm not doing that here because I was fearing getting one-shotted. But as you can see, it's going to be a rough time without Sword of Salvation, or at the very least you're going to generate power far slower. Like, I'm using that so often, like every single time besides this fight, to the point where I just assumed the Sword of Salvation Battle Flaps. I took it for granted. But yeah, we had no way to kill the prisoners without that here. So yeah, we're going to build as much of a combo as we can and try to kill this dude with a second special from range. That should also put us into final form, hopefully. Combo and chopped again, all the way to a 40-hit combo, my dudes. I'm still going to go for it. We're still trying to deal damage. That's not enough. Just look at this. It's like we're fighting a mini-boss here there. I think we spend more time fighting the prisoners than we spend fighting Joker. Block that, could have jumped over it, but since we don't have a swipe from a jump attack on the left, I would have most likely took more damage if I jumped over it. And yeah, we most likely need to go into final form again if we wanna get all the percentage shell damage. And it's not gonna be ideal because we are almost in final form and I might trigger final form while a prisoner is tagged in. And also I was like to survive that supernova. I was not expecting to survive it. When I saw that, I was like, okay, it's a game over. We tried, guys. Combo and chopped again. Combo and chopped again. Combo and chopped again. Come on, my dude, you can do it. You can lose health. Now I backed off. To be fair, it was a little bit too early. But boy, this guy is nowhere close to dying. And I'm not sure if we do percentage shell damage on him, if it's going to waste our total percentage shell damage reserve. And we seem to have done nothing more on Battle Laughs, on Last of Joker. But yeah, all that being said, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, like it if you liked it, dislike it if you dislike it. And all that being said, I'll hopefully see you on the next one. Goodbye!
This is the future.